The Ripple versus SEC lawsuit has been one of the most high-stakes legal battles in the history of the crypto world for over 3 years. Ripple and its supporters have fought tooth and nail against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's accusations that XRP should be classified as a security. Well, it looks like the trial is entering its final phase and a major twist is on the horizon in a shocking turn of events. The SEC has been caught in a massive lie, and Judge Annalisa Torres has the proof to back it up. This could change everything for Ripple. And the broader crypto community, the SEC has been accused of hiding crucial evidence during the trial, a breach that has the potential to completely derail their case. Judge Torres has recently uncovered this misconduct, and the implications could be catastrophic for the SEC if the court decides to penalize the SEC for this. The consequences could be huge. A dismissal with prejudice, which would throw out the case entirely, is now a very real possibility. This isn't just a minor victory for Ripple. This is a game-changing moment that could set a legal precedent for crypto cases going forward. Music as the news of this revelation spreads, the market is reacting quickly. XRP whales, always ahead of the curve, have begun to make massive moves in the market. In fact, just hours after the courtroom bombshell dropped, over 500 million XRP tokens were bought in a single hour. This kind of activity doesn't happen unless the big players smell something significant coming. And right now, it's looking like the SEC might be on the brink of a total collapse. The smart money is betting on Ripple and its future, with the hope that this trial could end with a victory so monumental that it sends XRP's price into the stratosphere. The possibilities for XRP are huge. If Ripple walks away victorious, there's a strong chance that the price could see an immediate post-victory rally. XRP could easily hit $10, but that might just be the beginning. With Ripple's on-demand liquidity volume up by 400%, there's a real potential for XRP to reach a much higher price point, perhaps even $200 by 2026. As the use case for XRP grows and more financial institutions adopt Ripple's technology, the price could surge to levels that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. But the timeline is tight, and honestly, the next few days are critical. The final ruling is expected to drop in just 48 hours. The stakes couldn't be higher. The SEC now has two options in front of them. They either pay Ripple a massive $2 billion settlement, or XRP becomes untouchable. If Judge Torres rules in Ripple's favor, the SEC will be forced to pay up, and Ripple could move forward without any more legal roadblocks. But if the ruling doesn't go their way, it could mean more legal delays, more courtroom drama, and another year of uncertainty for Ripple and XRP holders. The court's decision will be a landmark moment in the fight for crypto regulation in the United States. The entire crypto world is watching with bated breath, knowing that this case will set a precedent for future legal battles between the SEC and other crypto projects. If Ripple wins, it could signal the beginning of a new era for cryptocurrencies, one where tokens like XRP are recognized for their utility rather than being treated like securities. This could pave the way for other cryptocurrencies to fight back against the SEC's overreach and start defining their own futures on their own terms. But while we're all focused on the legal drama unfolding in the courts, we can't ignore the broader picture. Ripple has been quietly building a global network of partnerships with banks, financial institutions, and governments, while the legal battle has been raging. Ripple has continued to grow its influence in the world of cross-border payments. Ripple's XRP is designed to facilitate fast, cheap, and borderless transactions. And as more institutions begin to see the value of this technology, the demand for XRP could increase exponentially. Ripple's recent launch of a permissioned decentralized exchange, or DEX, on the XRP ledger is honestly another example of how the company is positioning XRP for long-term success. By creating a DEX that actually complies with regulatory standards, Ripple is bridging the gap between traditional finance and decentralized finance, or DeFi. This is, a game-changing move that could drive even more institutional adoption of XRP. The DEX is designed to be a more secure and compliant platform for institutions, allowing banks and financial institutions to trade XRP and other digital assets without violating any regulatory guidelines. This move is only going to increase the demand for XRP, which could put upward pressure on the price. Music as the institutional demand for XRP grows, so too will its value, with more whales and institutional players accumulating XRP. The price is likely to experience significant upward momentum. These whales, they really understand the value of XRP's utility and are positioning core liquidity tool. When you combine that with the growing momentum in the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Europe, you really start to see how XRP's global footprint is expanding, regardless of what happens in United States courts. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room. The clock is ticking. The current legal standstill only lasts until August 15th. After that, if Judge Torres hasn't issued a favorable indicative ruling, the SEC's appeal process resumes. That means more briefs, more arguments, and potentially another 2 to 3 years of legal back and forth. So we're in a race against time. The next 6 weeks could determine whether XRP becomes the most legally secure token in the world, or whether it gets dragged back into another legal quagmire. And during that time, market volatility will be extreme. Traders are already loading up in anticipation. Open interest on XRP derivatives has surged. Google searches for XRP price predictions are spiking, and influencers across YouTube and Twitter are fanning the flames of speculation. Meanwhile, new wallet creation on the XRP ledger has dipped slightly, a possible sign that retail investors are waiting for confirmation before jumping in, but that hesitation may cost them. If a positive ruling comes in August, the combination of whale accumulation, renewed retail interest, and institutional onboarding could send XRP into parabolic territory. That's why some analysts are calling this moment a silent setup. The whales are buying. The legal machinery is grinding toward a resolution, and the infrastructure to support mass adoption is already built to fully grasp the upside. We also need to zoom out. The global financial system is undergoing a major shift. Central bank digital currencies, tokenized assets, and real-time payments are becoming the norm. And in that new world, liquidity is king. XRP's native features, fast settlement, low fees, scalability make it uniquely positioned to be the liquidity bridge between banks, digital currencies, and decentralized finance. In this vision, XRP isn't just a crypto token. It's a financial layer, a highway for value transfer across borders, systems, and platforms. That vision, if realized, justifies valuations far beyond today's levels. But make no mistake, the road ahead is not guaranteed. Regulatory uncertainty still looms. Market manipulation remains a risk, and crypto's volatility can erase gains in a heartbeat. That's why it's important to stay grounded, do your own research, and understand the risks. But if you're an XRP holder, now is not the time to look away. Because whether XRP goes to $3 or $300, one thing is clear: the next 30 to 60 days will be historic in conclusion. Judge Torres's recent ruling may seem like a minor procedural hiccup, but it actually opens the door for something far more significant: a final legal declaration that could cement XRP's status as the first fully compliant utility token in United States history. Whales are betting, big institutions are building infrastructure, and retail sentiment is beginning to stir again. If the stars align, a favorable ruling, settlement finalization, and global adoption, the $500 price point that once sounded like fantasy might not be so far-fetched. After all, the SEC is out of moves, the XRP community has never been stronger, and the finish line is in sight. So now I ask you, where do you stand? Are you just watching from the sidelines? Or are you prepared for what could be the most explosive moment in crypto since Bitcoin broke 20,000? Smash that like button if you're holding. Subscribe for daily XRP updates. And remember, this isn't just about price. It's about a movement years in the making, and its moment has finally come. Disclaimer: this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Please do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.